Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and I've been trying to do this for 2 days now. I was going to do this last night, take a look at, Goddess Mode, and I couldn't do it. I just kind of had to put it away because this book is kind of a mess, and I didn't really, sometimes you try and find a hook. You find what you're going to focus on and find the center. And this book has no center. This is issue number 5. And we found out in the last issue that the virtual world and the real world, the way they work is because the virtual world is based upon magic, and they're using people to take their magic to keep things running. And if someone's too dangerous, they kill them, and the demons go after the rest. I guess it's kind of a mess. But the worst part about this is I think there is an interesting story underneath all this. I mentioned before the premise. I like the premise because it reminded me of Dot Hack. And Zoe Quinn's writing and experience is really, really showing in this issue. Because in this one, it becomes kind of like an information dump. We just suddenly got to get to this point. This is where we need to be. Instead of building to it like we should, or maybe that point be down here, we're going to dump everything right here, right now. And, I was reading through this issue, and, there are no ads until really the end of the book. So it's page after page, and it felt like I was just trudging through it. And I was like, am I ever going to get to the end? So that's why I stopped last night. I figured I'm going to sleep on it. Sometimes that helps. And so tonight I came back. I was rereading it again. And yeah, I think that's what it is. She's trying to do so much at once. Set up the eye patch chick at Timoni, whatever. Trying to set her up as being sympathetic. Suddenly the world's about to end. Because as they have mentioned, the demon attacks would happen, like every few days, and they were hours apart. Now it's just suddenly boom, boom, boom. It's getting bad. The walls between the worlds are collapsing. We're on issue 5. Okay, we're only on issue 5. How are we at this point already? And so she's interweaving, kind of like answering things, and by she I mean Zoe Quinn, and trying to get to her point, and she's getting to it too quickly. You see, we have seen the oracles, who their official name is. They call themselves the Tall Poppies. It's referred to at the end of the book, where they said, something about the next issue, the Tall Poppies, blah blah blah. So okay, fine. We really haven't seen, we have seen them fighting, but we haven't seen what their powers are. I mean, okay, I guess we have a little bit, but not really enough to really establish some things. We know Cassandra can kind of stop time and send people back into the real world, because that's where the last issue ended up. She tried to save another oracle they'd encountered from the mouth of a demon, and when they got back to the real world, the person that she saved was dead. And pretty much a skeleton crumbling. So yeah, I guess you die in your dreams, you die in real life. But we still don't really have a really good feel of the characters. At least I don't. They go into the fake world, and they fight a little bit, and they talk about their magic and their powers, but I'm not quite sure what all that entails, what they are capable of, what they can do. And it really brings, it's really hard to get focused. It's hard to understand the stakes if you don't know what they're bringing to battle. So when they do have their big power up moment, what does that mean exactly? They have different outfits. There's more garish colors. Again, this looks like This cover reminds me of that thing Valiant did with the Valiant Visions with the goggles, and so it's supposed to be like kind of a 3D effect. Um, they've eased up a little bit on the palette still, on the color palette. It was really bad the early issues. Um, and another thing is the art in this book doesn't always seem to quite match up with what is being said or revealed via dialogue. So it's another way that's another reason why this book was so hard to read. I've gone through it several times. Ah, so so we start off with, like I said, the person that Cassandra tried to save is dead and crumbling to dust. And so she's like, she nopes out of there. She's like, I'm done with this. Um, she comes upon Psyche, who is begging her to save them, to listen to them. And she takes off running because she's had enough. She tried to save someone. She ended up killing them instead. Back in the fake world, back in the virtual world, the rest of the tall poppies are now starting to argue among themselves, and then they get another demon attack. And this is what I mean. We don't really know what their powers are because we see like them stabbing people and punching. But what are their powers really? What can they really do? And then we get great art like this. So when the tall poppies return back to the real world, they see, like, here's what I mean about the art not matching up. They see that Cassandra's not around; they can't find her, and you talk about the attacks getting worse, and then we get this look on their face where they're all shocked, surprised, and this is what she was trying to warn you about: the end of your world. What exactly are they looking at? The art doesn't really convey that. This could be any night sky with, spotlights in the background, but police helicopters. What exactly are they looking at? Are the lights out in the city and there's only a few lights? It's their reaction to this doesn't. I don't get what they're trying to say in this panel. So you're kind of losing the flow, the build. It's supposed to be the end of the world, and it just looks like a darkened night street. I, I it could be downtown Detroit, and it's kind of the end of the world if you're there in the wrong areas. Um, so then we go to what's her name, Antimony, and she's doing her kind of villainous thing to Cassandra, threatening to kill her. But Cassandra's on her whole giving up thing, and Antimony says, you call my bluff? And she starts laughing. I shouldn't laugh. You're a monster, and even you're better at this whole not killing people thing than I am. I really am garbage. I had to reread this a few times to this panel. That the whole you're better at this whole not killing people thing than I am. Because, she called it bluff. She didn't really kill Cassandra. It's clunky. It doesn't read very well. And so, yeah, they argue, do not take me lightly. If your heart was truly weak, you've not overpowered a demon with it. It still sleeps within you, even now. Some part of you is keeping it at bay. And then she does something, and she kind of fades away. You truly were meant to be thrown away. Okay. Then we go back to the real world with the tall poppies. They know the end of the world is coming, and so they all split up to do their own things. And then Mary has this line, she's fallen into despair that she failed Cassandra. Even my body has given up on me. What? What does that mean? Because you're sitting in the rain? And so, yeah, she's apologizing for not keeping the promise, and find out that all the people are in these like coma things. They've all fallen down, and Reynolds from the company is giving out a speech to everyone, sends out to the whole world. Basically, is what it appears because you'll see it on the walls. And even the dogs are in the system. At least I think that's supposed to be a dog. Maybe it's a cat. I don't know, the art's kind of bad. Um, it is basically imagine what Google or something would do, any big tech company in the when there's a data breach. We promise to do better. We take things seriously. We'll become better as a company. It almost seems like a commentary on like Facebook or something. And then we get this whole little story here where now we're supposed to start to feel for Etmone as she's talking to Psyche and, the world's falling apart. She tells the story about how, which is, I guess, supposed to be her. She was a peasant. Um, you know, uh, the world made her feel worthless, so she daydreamed of better worlds. And then she met a princess from a strange land who did not think she was worthless. She thought she was beautiful. They fell in love. Okay, lesbianism. Okay, you know what? They're lesbians, fine. It's no big deal. I'm actually surprised it took this long. We do have that Titania who I think will sleep with anyone in the book, but, sure, whatever. And goes on about how the king wanted the power to himself, which is probably the Hermeticore here, and took the princess and broke her up, but the servant got mad and turned her rage into power and into hate. And we get the parallels here with Cassandra's dad. See, she turns on him. So yeah, that's kind of supposed to be her origin story, I suppose. um she's lost her love. Okay, fine. At least it's pretty quick. I will give that. And that's the problem. We're hitting things boom, 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 really quick in this book. And then it cuts to from her story over to Cassandra Father's story. It's like, yeah, I need you to watch after Cassandra, watch after your little sister. Um, you know, uh, she doesn't have anyone else. Blah blah blah. But it doesn't really talk too much about her sister. Um, he talks about, before I go, if I could teach you one thing, let it be this: the cost of progress is never going to be fair, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. When they stop ignoring you and ask you to pay an impossible price, it's because they know you can afford it. Okay, that seems like some odd parting words, but I bring this up about the whole, your little sister, because later on Cassandra does say everything, my dad told you about me, he didn't really tell her much, at least not that we see here. And so we find that Cassandra has ended up in what is basically, if you're into dot hack, it's the net slum. It's where data is discarded and thrown away. It's totally net slum. And we find out that the princess here, her name is Galena, and that I am all the parts that outgrew the submissive role I was forced into, and they were pruned away. The parts that could be a threat. The parts that could say no. The same parts of you are in this place. You could become a threat too, if you are willing to pay the cost. After all, this is your domain. Because she's the oracle of garbage, blah, blah, blah. And so find out that there's a whole big cost to this, and because of the cost, it would seal away the rest of Azeroth too. Everyone who only exists because of it will die. Tucker Brady patients, people sustained by nanomedicine, all the fragmented souls here. Does magic really have to be capitalism too? Oh, no, no! That is literally not what capitalism is. Oh my god, do we have any more of the progressive talking points we can get in here while we're at it? No. No. This is more akin to a tiger needing to eat an antelope in order to live. Okay, that's the cost. That's not capitalism. That's more like survival. So yeah, the whole thing is that if you were to use your power to send me to analog right now, it would cause a massive disruption that would seal demons away in Azeroth forever. You can end all this right now if you wish. So basically, you have to give up all the fancy technology that makes your world because it all runs on magic. And that is the price you're going to have to pay. People who are sustained by technology, sustained by magic, which is powering the technology, will die, but your world will be saved. So it's kind of like it's almost like a green message. um, stop relying on fossil fuels. I guess I don't know, but I got to stop here. I kind of want to go one more page here because, again, this is the whole art thing that doesn't make sense. She's looking around, and regardless, there isn't a thing any oracle could do. Demon attacks on the analog have been escalated to such a constant state that you would be unable to enter the analog. Like a firewall? See, Zoe knows technological terms, 'cause she wrote games, remember? Well, at least she made that one game. She still has that Kickstarter she hasn't delivered on yet, but, she had to go to Japan, remember? So, she says here, um, hey, so all those cautionary tales my dad told you about me, remember that? When did he tell her that? Um, I'm going to need you to hang on to these and not to be really judgy if this all goes sideways. Um, she didn't have anything. She was just standing there. What is she handing off? That little pole thing? She's not even holding it. It looks like she's reaching over to what this Galena person is holding. And then she takes that. So what is she asking her to hold? Anyway, this book is... I can kind of see where they're going with this. I can kind of see what Zoe Quinn is trying to do. But it's several stories put into one issue that doesn't make sense because you can't focus on anything. We've progressed to the end of the world too quickly, and suddenly the stakes have raised up so high with no real progression that the heroes have all but given up. Every one of them, of the tall poppies, except for Mary, she's kind of fallen into despair. Cassandra's suicidal. She only gets to this part because she was waiting for Antimony to kill her. What is... It's stupid, and then it starts coming off with the whole little swings here, the kind of swing at like I said, the tech company's Facebook. When everything goes down, they give a blanket statement like most companies would. Capitalism, really. This book is garbage. It's hot garbage, and I don't even want to call it hot garbage because that's an insult to fire. Okay. And like I said, the problem with this is I think there's actually the nuggets of a good premise, a good base. Like I've been saying all along, there's a lot of dot hacking here, including the whole princess character, the Galena, who almost comes off like Aura, I guess, maybe. Um, whoops, I just hit my phone. And I guess now Antimony is supposed to be Helba. Is it's I should say it's obvious. It seems like there's a lot of similarities. Could be coincidence, maybe not. But we've gotten to the end of the world. You know what? Let the world end. They're going to try and make a better one, apparently. And I really don't care. You've escalated the stakes so quickly, but there's, you keep talking about a cost to it, but the cost isn't really relevant because we've not gotten any type of emotional connection to the world these people live in. What we have seen through Cassandra's eyes and when she was in the analog is that the world is actually kind of shitty. Pardon my French. I normally try not to swear, but it's kind of crappy. She is the Oracle of Garbage after all, but the high up people, of course, the wealthy and the low people, the wealth disparity. See, there's a whatever. 6 o'clock. I'm going 6. Like I said, this book was hard. I've gone through it a couple times, and when I say hard, not like, oh, there are words, a lot of words. It's just that the words are bad, and the story is bad. And I kind of hope that this is all building up real quick so it could be canceled on the sixth issue, and that's why it's racing so quickly. Because otherwise, it's bad story writing. It really, really is. Um, they need people to edit these books, and they don't anymore. So anyway, I went on far too long for this. As you know, my voice has been cutting out here. You probably hear my scratchiness here. But anyway, thanks for watching. New comic book day is tomorrow. I have no idea. I haven't even looked at what's coming out. I still have issues I haven't even gotten to from this week. So anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.